as we are coming on the air, we got breaking news. So, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Nah, you gotta make your own beat for every breaking news. I know you used to produce back in the day. You gotta come up with a fire beat for breaking news.
Say less. I gotta do one of those breaking news joints for DR so that we could pop off anytime we got some breaking when we do the show. Say less. I gotta do that. But yo, literally, as we're coming on, Sham Charania from The Athletic just tweeted out sources. There was a physical altercation at Warriors practice today um, that has the team considering disciplinary action towards Draymond Green, aka they're considering suspending him or fining him, whatever that may be. But there was a fight at Warriors camp. And as you open the article, the details start to leak out more info. When a heated interaction with guard Jordan Poole, who everyone was kind of speculating that's who it kind of took place with, when a heated interaction with guard Jordan Poole escalated, Green forcefully struck, aka he punched. He just didn't want to use that word. He punched Jordan Poole, and they needed to be separated swiftly. Sources said Green and Poole came chest to chest with both players pushing and shoving each other prior to Green's escalation of the physical altercation. Sources said basically Green and Draymond got into it at practice. They got in each other's grills where they were bumping chests. And Draymond said, all right, enough is enough. You're going to stop playing with me. And he took off on Buddy and snuffed him. Bro, what are your reactions to this?
I'm not shocked because it's Draymond. Like,
Right.
I'm not shocked, but it happens all the time though. Like, let's keep it a stack. Teammates fight all the time, bro. Shaq and Kobe. I don't think it ever went to fisticuffs, but I think Kobe punched Samaki Walker one time in practice. Jordan would occur, but for Golden State's management to want to discipline Draymond, that means that he took it too far. And this ain't his first strike. This is like his second, third strike. Even with the KD situation, they were trying to give him a lengthy suspension. And in some cases, I heard that they were trying to get rid of him via trade. But Draymond's on the decline of his career, man. He got to chill out. Or is he trying to make his way to LA?
Listen, I think so. You make a good point that people do fight all the time, and this is especially in training camp, like especially in football, it happens. In basketball, it's happened. I think the only way that the team is literally like saying, or they might suspend him or fine him or whatever that may be, it had to have been where Draymond was the aggressor. Like it wasn't like
the aggressor.
Right.
I think they had it up to here, man. There's a pattern of behavior with this guy.
Yeah. I don't see Jordan Poole snuffing Draymond first or anything like that. I think maybe I don't think he backed down from him because, like, I think we all know he feels him. Jordan Poole thinks he's that guy. I think that might have been Draymond feeling like I need to humble this guy, and not let him talk to him, whatever he said or whatever happened. And that happened. So this is not a big deal in the grand scheme. Or do you think this could lead to Draymond finding his way out of there?
I know suspension is coming. I know that for a fact. Yeah, they have to suspend him.
Especially it's out. Who leaks this stuff, bro? Like, why does this stuff always come out? Why do we always know what goes on?
Because it's 24/7 media. That's the part of the game that we're with. That's
why
the older players
are closed,
bro. That's why all these older players love that social media wasn't out back in the day, man. Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Daryl Strawberry and Lawrence Taylor, like those dudes was wilding. But listen, every insider like Shams and Woj, they have their insiders with the team, so they got that text the minute it happened. And NBA offseason, that's what it is. It's about the clickbait and the headlines that's going on. We were bound to know that this happened.
They have insiders with the team. My thinking is, why is someone with the team willing to do this stuff? Like, what is it? What is the benefit that team gets to leak out? Because I think the GMs would want this stuff to stay inside. So who is this person on the team's front office or source? Is it a player?
Or the player? Listen, or the GM can want to leak this story out to let it be known that Draymond's up to hat, right? Isn't he due for a contract extension at some point?
He wants a new bag,
right? They have a whole bunch of set of young players like a Kuminga,
like a
Wiseman.
This is a big conspiracy, Gene. You're saying
what was that show with The Rock? What was it? Ballers, not Ballers. Playmakers,
yeah, ballers,
right?
I love that show, by the way.
Come on, man! Like, he gave you the in and out of sports. I mean, it was football, but these things happen. they don't have enough money to pay everyone, man. This might be the reason why Draymond is gone. But for him to get suspended, he went above and beyond the norm. Players fight all the time.
Wow. Yeah. So this will be interesting, in the coming days to see how this unfolds. If Draymond is, because he addresses everything. If he's gonna do a podcast to address the matter, but
he'll address it. It won't be detailed though. I think they're gonna put the gag on him to like, yo, yeah, you can talk about it. Don't give them intricate details.
True. All right. So I guess, Draymond and Jordan Poole right now are not on the best of terms. We'll look to see if that, unfolds and how that unfolds. Really quickly, man, before we really get the show popping, that Odell Beckham Jr. is my guy.
Facts.
And that since he's left New York, I've had a grudge match, for the lack of a better term, with the organization, not because he's not there, but because of how they did him, leaking out a bunch of stuff that were not, like they just didn't need to be said or whatever it may be. And the GM traded him for a bag of literally Snickers, and he ate them after he traded him for a bag of Snickers. And now Odell is a free agent. I have been saying for the longest, since February, that Odell was somehow going to find his way back to the Giants, because I know he loved New York. Odell really loved New York for a lot of reasons. That's the team that drafted him. Big city, he's a star, market, like that matters a lot. Back in last July, when I linked up with Odell at his camp in Cleveland. He was still with the Browns at that time, coming off the ACL injury. Him and I chopped it up. We talked about his time in New York and how much he loved it there. He talked about being excited for Cleveland, which obviously is to be expected. But I spoke to his mom. Me and his mom met, and we were chopping it up. And I was telling Mom how I just still think Odell belongs in New York. And Mom was just like, it's just kind of like, it's how life works. You really can't control what you can't control. So they're just taking whatever in stride. But I can tell from speaking to his mom and speaking to him, they love their time in New York. I fast forward to now. I've been having my whole little theories about Odell making his way back with Russell Wilson coming via trade last year. That didn't happen. But Odell is now a free agent. And Josina Anderson, who is one of my favorite reporters in all of sports, reported that Odell visited the Giants, and Sterling Shepard in particular, but he visited the facility the same day that Landon Collins, another former Giant safety, visited the facility. And she said, make of that what you will, but that should be a fun thing to speculate. What do you think is the best landing spot for Odell? I obviously want it to be New York, so I can root for my Giants again. But what do you think legitimately would be the best spot for Odell to go?
I mean, if Odell is your boy and you rock with him, why would you ever want him to come to the Giants? Because
I'm a lifelong Giants fan.
It doesn't, bro. But that man will be miserable watching Daniel Jones trying to throw him the ball. Come on, man, do better, bro. All right. So it's two factors, right? Number one, it has to be with a veteran QB. None of these young guys. It has to be with a veteran QB, and number two, it has to be with a contender. Right. So I picked three teams that I think that he'll do well with. One, Packers. They need a big time playmaker. And you're going to play with one of the GOATs who will feed Odell the ball. Two, run it back with the Rams. You're familiar with that offense. You just won a Super Bowl. And Allen Robinson and Stafford, they're not meshing. They had training camp together. They had preseason together. And right now, they're not vibing. He's not finding him. And there's plays where Allen Robinson ain't really getting open, so we got to keep it a stack on that factor. And third, I know you're going to hate this, but I wouldn't mind seeing him with the Dallas Cowboys. And I say this because we all know that CeeDee Lamb is not a number one wide receiver, right? If you put him and Odell there and they both can mesh, that's really going to open up the offense. That's going to get Schultz more passes as a tight end and open up the run game. And then CD can really fall into the number 2 spot, which is his spot. He balled out when Amari Cooper was there. So those are the three teams, all veteran QBs when Dak comes back, and they have to be contenders. I don't want my dude going to New York or the Saints, man. They're not going to do anything, bro.
So two things. You mentioned the Cowboys, how I would hate that. I hate the Cowboys. I think them and the Yankees are my two most hated teams in sports. But unlike baseball with the Yankees, I've always said this, like in baseball, there's not a player that I love so much. Maybe Jackie Bradley Jr. If Jackie Bradley went to the Yankees, I would support the Yankees because that's my guy. Okay. I didn't have one before Jackie though. Because my last favorite player was Vladimir Guerrero. And he didn't even play for my team. I just loved everything about that guy. But in football, y'all know where Odell travels, I support. I supported the Rams last year. I wasn't a fan of the Rams, but I just wanted them to do well because that would mean Odell did well and they won a championship, which they did. But if Odell went to the Cowboys, I would 100% not hate it. I think it would be a great situation. Me and my guys at work, we talk about that all the time. Right. Dak, we know Dak could get him the ball. We know, like they have the pieces at running back, at receiver, like you said, at tight end. They have a good tight end.
And their defense
like
is
the
solid.
Rams offense, right? It's almost like a very Rams offense. With that, they look like the Rams last year. The Cowboys, they just don't have their quarterback right now because he's obviously injured. But if Micah Parsons could be that, Aaron Donald to the defense, right? If Lawrence, DeMarcus, who looks like he's back to his old self, he had 3 sacks against the Giants. If he could be that, Von Miller type player coming back on that defense, their secondary is playing well.
Diggs is balling, man. We killed Diggs, but he's playing well,
Right. If he could be the Ramsey to that secondary, along with the other guys who are playing well on the back end, I don't hate it. Wherever Odell goes, I want him to win. If he goes to the Cowboys, I hope they win a Super Bowl. If he goes to the freaking Saints, I hope they win a Super Bowl. So I don't really think that's a dynamic that I'm worried about. But I am surprised you left off the Bills. Is there a reason you left off the Bills? Or even the Ravens? Do you think the Ravens and Odell and Lamar, you don't think that could work?
That's a great question. I wanted to pick 3 teams where I feel like he can seamlessly just walk right in like he did with the Rams and then succeed, right? The Ravens offense can be wishy-washy sometimes, even though I love Lamar. That offense is really Lamar or nothing, bro.
It's
like,
RPO.
Let's keep it a stack. It's really about Lamar. The wide receivers are actually playing well this year, Dunave and Bateman. And the Bills, it's funny you mentioned the Bills. I didn't really even think about them. That would be
because Von Miller's recruiting him crazy.
Listen, I mean, you have him across from Stephon Diggs.
And then you got Gary Davis in the freaking slot or wherever you want to line him up.
That's a good one, man. I'll give you that.
That's probably the best trio of receivers in the NFL.
I'll give you what I wasn't even thinking to build. They didn't even cross my mind, And Josh Allen is a beast, and he definitely can get Odell the Rock. So yeah, those 4 teams, I'd love to see him one of those teams. But please go to a contender, bro. You have money.
I just want him to come home. I at some point, maybe not this year. I think Daniel Jones, this is his last year in New York. So the Giants
last year, 4 years ago. But Odell should sign a one-day retire as a Giant. Then he'll come home. Okay,
he's got to play some games here, bro. The Giants have a great defense. They have the talent at running back. I think he's the best running back in football.
Who's throwing him the rock?
I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about at some point Odell's got to come home.
How old is he?
He's 30. He's 29.
Bro, his prime is right now. Like let's say up till 34, 35 is really his prime.
Bro, you don't think the Giants are a quarterback away from being contenders? They're a quarterback away.
Am I sold on the Giants in drafting the right guy? No, I'm not.
This is a new regime. You can't do that. Don't do that.
What you mean? What you mean?
This is a brand new GM, a brand new coach who looks like.
So let me ask you a question. So you're telling me that the Giants saw something in Daniel Jones over Tyrod Taylor? They have a team that's waiting around. I bet you if you put Tyrod Taylor in now, the Giants will be 50 times better than what they are right now.
Yes, but Daniel Jones.
So you can't tell me it's a new regime.
Yes, because they have to decide if this guy is going to be worth even giving them a franchise tag.
Bro, they have 4 years of games or
that
3 years
him.
of games.
That wasn't
it doesn't matter.
You don't know why coaching matters?
All right, let me tell you something, right? All right, look at Peyton Manning, right? Peyton Manning, when he first got to the Colts were not winners. He was the solid thing on the team.
Peyton stunk too. He's rookie year. He stunk.
In comparison to Daniel Jones?
I'm not comparing them. Bro. I'm just talking about period.
Okay, let me ask you an honest question. Has Daniel Jones shown any flash of being a confident quarterback? That's what I'm asking you. Point blank period, bro. Like, let's stop fooling around here, man. You're talking about Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning showed you flashes of greatness.
Of course, he was the number 1 overall pick.
Thank you. Daniel Jones has not shown you what this man wide open 75-yard run and he falls before he even reaches the end zone, my man.
Okay,
Come
you
on.
got to say he is talented though. He's talented. I don't think the talent has reverted to production. But Gene, he's got some talent. He's very athletic. He has the arm strength.
He's holding the team down. Yeah, but he doesn't look. Okay, you're saying coaching matters. It does, right? Even with Josh Allen, if you look at his last coach compared to now, big upgrade.
Right.
But we saw flashes of greatness though, his rookie and second year. And then they went out and put pieces around him.
Okay, listen, I'm not defending. You know, I don't like Daniel Jones. I think he's terrible.
I'm just saying, like, I can't make me sound crazy when you got 4 years of evidence of the man not doing nothing.
Yeah, but you also have to see him with your guys. It might not work with the other guys, but you might be able to fix him. You might be able to find something. You said this about Geno Smith. Geno Smith is finally getting his shot.
No, I rock with Geno because he's the ex-Jet, and I feel like, he would have. But Geno, even with the Jets, go back to his rookie year. Geno had flashes where he threw for like 450 yards, 4 touchdowns. My thing is at least Geno showed flashes. I have yet to see Daniel Jones show any flash of greatness or even competence at the QB, bro.
It hasn't been consistent, but I've seen him do some things. I'm like, this guy might play.
He'll give you one great play that wows you, and then he'll give you 5 that you're just scratching your head every single game. Can he have a game without a turnover? Can I see that?
He did it last week.
How many games has he been a starter?
I'm not defending Daniel Jones, but he's 3-1 right now.
My man has started 30-something games. He's gone 2 games without a turnover, bro. Come on, man. Let's not do this, man.
Per your Cooper Rush assessment, the Giants are winning. They're winning at an over 90% clip right now with him at quarterback. I still think Tyrod is the better quarterback, but the Giants have to see what they have in this guy before they officially move on. Speaking of,
quick question though. So would you risk the chance of this season failing even with your hot start because you don't want to make a change at QB?
If they need a change, Gene, you can't take him out when he's winning. If the Giants start losing, you could see a change. You can't take him out while they're winning.
Okay.
So again, if they might start losing against the Packers on Sunday, maybe that'll be the start of something. But this kind of leads us to our next point. Like, are there any teams that are definitively, clear-cut elite compared to others, or is it just kind of like a dogfight and we'll figure out something later down the stretch based on this NFL season?
I think every decade or every 15 years, there's always that one season in the NFL where it's up for grabs, and this year's that year. Kind of like what the NBA was last year, right? If you went through the list, there were like a legit 10-team NBA team that had a valid chance of winning championship. Boston Celtics, the Nets, Warriors, Memphis, etc. If we were to do a power ranking tonight, right, 1 through 5 or 5 through 1, nobody in that top 5 can you say is a real juggernaut or is a real elite team. The Bills lost. We watched the Ravens falter.
Bills should have lost again last year.
That's what I'm saying. The Chiefs, although they look good against the Bucks, like they still look beatable. The Eagles are 4-0. They're the least scariest 4-0 team in recent memory, bro. Like Jacksonville was cracking them until they started turning the ball over. And then remember, they got in a shootout first game against the Lions. So no, there's not a single team in the NFL that you're like, damn. Like, remember the greatest show on turf with the Rams when you're like, damn, we got to play the Rams.
We got to play those guys. Yeah,
we're gonna get cracked by 30. No one's like that. So it should make for a better NFL season where you have like, let's call it 10 teams with a valid chance of winning the Super Bowl. So no, there's no elite teams.
Is there a quarterback controversy in Dallas? I'm only asking you this because I know you've been very vocal about you got to play the hot hand regardless of who's coming back and how much money he makes.
No, there's not a controversy because for me, I'm not saying it based on a controversy. My whole stance with this Dallas thing was if everyone counted Dallas out after that got hurt from the first game, you put in a backup and you guys are winning. Your defense is balling, right? Okay, he's not throwing for 300 yards. He's not losing you any games. And some of his stats would have been better if the receivers would catch the ball.
I actually think he's playing really well.
Right? So I'm saying hypothetically, if They go 5, 6, 7-0. You don't rush Dak back. Why start Dak when you guys are already on a roll? And I use very specific examples, right? When Drew Bledsoe went down, Tom Brady went in. Tom Brady wasn't throwing 350 a game, 4 touchdowns. He was managing, he was picking and choosing where to throw it to, and he didn't turn the ball over. But the most important thing is that he was getting his W's, right? If Nick Foles did the same thing with the Eagles, if Carson Wentz was ready for the Super Bowl, Eagles still wouldn't have played him because they were on a hot streak with Nick Foles. So going back to Dallas, like, let's keep it a stack. Are we going to be honest with ourselves? How many playoff games has Dak won? One.
One, yeah.
How many? He hasn't brought you to the Super Bowl. He hasn't. So if the team is playing better than expected, I think this is a conversation that should be had. Am I crazy for it?
Again, we talked about this in our grouper. I understand your stance. I just don't think I don't think there's any chance it's going to happen because of the team and the player and the owner of that team. But I do think, again, if you're winning, I just don't see it even being I don't think it's even going to be discussed.
Questions.
But I get why you say what you say. Because
So
again,
why do people bring up salary when these players can be cut at any time? So for people to say, "Oh, Dak is making 90 million," who cares? Dallas can cut him next season if they want to. That 90 million don't mean nothing.
yes, it's less likely for quarterbacks. I think that's why everyone says that, because that's your franchise person. I will say this, in regards to Cooper Rush, and everyone's like, well, you're saying Drew Bledsoe came in, Tom Brady came in for Drew Bledsoe, and you're comparing the two. I'm like, we didn't know Tom Brady was Tom Brady when he came in for Drew Bledsoe.
6th round draft pick.
I'm not saying Cooper is going to be Tom Brady. I don't think he's going to be even. We're not even talking about this, but I'm tired of hearing, well, you're saying Aaron Rodgers is Brett Favre when we're not saying that Cooper Rush is going to be Brady. We're saying when Brady came in, you thought it was just another 6th round draft pick coming in until Bledsoe was back. That's what we thought. We didn't know Dak was permanently going to take the job from Romo. And I think Romo's injury was more serious, but we thought, guys get hurt, they'll come back. And Romo's been there 10 years, however amount of time.
Didn't Romo take Brad Johnson's job?
Right. So I just
no one had Tony Romo coming in and being that great of a player that he was, but he got the Cowboys on a roll. And if it wasn't for that slip up against Seattle, they should have been in the Super Bowl that year.
Tony Romo,
right?
Tony Romo took Bledsoe's job, so
took his
job. Yeah, I don't like that argument because, again, you don't know, and none of us knew. I hate when people act like they knew what Brady was from jump. We didn't know, bro. Stop. Because he wasn't coming out, like you said, just slinging the rock and throwing 5 touchdowns a game. He wasn't doing all that. He
was drafted in the 6th round for a reason. Come on, man.
Right. All right. We're gonna shift to some basketball talk. All right, guys. Zion Williamson looks like a whole new person. I knew he's been working, but to see him, this new Zion with the trimmed down figures and his face is what mostly gives. I'm like, oh my God, this guy looks completely different. You can
always tell by the face.
Yeah, he's down like 50 pounds or something like that. Are the Pelicans with Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum got a new contract there, and they still have Steven Adams. Steven Adams is in Memphis now. Yeah. So with Zion,
Brandon Ingram,
CJ, and those guys, can the Pelicans actually be a threat? Maybe not to win it all, but to make some noise as like a Memphis team did last year?
Well, look at them last year. They were in the playoffs and they took Memphis to 7?
Like Phoenix to 7.
To Phoenix to 7, right? And they were getting their pound for pound best player back, right? I gotta look back at the list of the West Coast, but I know the West is a little bit tough this year. Lakers are at full strength. Clippers are getting some guys back. You have the Warriors. Memphis is going to be good. So I can see them in that bottom, 5 to 8 tier. But then when the playoffs happen, anything can happen. I like their team. They have a good bench. They got a solid 8 players, but there's no reason, especially if he stays healthy, that they shouldn't make the playoffs, though. The West is going to be tough to come out of this year, man. Oh, Denver Nuggets get their guys back.
I was just going to say, Denver. Me and my boy did a list the other day. Shout outs to Estrus. He every year this time around he sends me like his predictions of what he thinks the year's gonna look like for teams, and I do the same thing. But Memphis, Golden State, Denver, the Clippers, the Suns, the Mavericks, the Lakers, the Timberwolves, who added Gobert.
Oh my God! Yes.
And then you got Portland, who added Gary. What's his name again? Jeremiah Grant from Detroit.
Yeah. From Detroit.
So it's like, and not to mention New Orleans, there are a lot of it's a tough West. So people can't afford to get off the slow starts because those games are going to count.
Who did Dallas add?
Dallas added the buddy from Houston. What's his name again?
Christian Wood.
Christian Wood, and I think didn't they add Dragic as well? Goran Dragic, if I'm not mistaken.
Nah, Gordon was on. He played last night. Actually, who played? It was New Orleans versus Chicago. I think Gordon is on Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me tell you right. Yeah, I know they added Wood for sure, and I'm trying to figure out who else they added in free agency.
You know what though? I mean, I feel like New Orleans is going to be better than Dallas, man. I think Dallas took a step back by letting Jalen Brunson go.
I mean, they didn't have
because
Dinwiddie's they're going to count.
Who's going to be that consistent second scorer?
Dinwiddie's going to have to be that person. Him and Wood. Wood's a good scorer if he's staying healthy.
And they have Timmy Hardaway Jr. So I don't know. I feel like, and even just watching Jalen Brunson last night, I was like, damn, Dallas let a real one go because he can score, he can create his own shot where the other guys to a certain extent can't.
You're killing the Knicks.
I love killing the Knicks. I'm always killing the Knicks. Always kill the Knicks, man. Shout out
Cash
to
is gonna see this and throw a fit.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill this dude, man. I love trolling Knicks Twitter, man. They're the easiest to get riled up, man.
Yo, but they did add JaVale as well, JaVale McGee, but they got the player in the draft that everybody was trying to sneak up and get, Jaden Hardy, which is that young scorer. He's a phenomenal scorer, at least in the college level. We'll see how it translates to the NBA, but
I think New Orleans is going to finish higher than Portland and Dallas. I really think Dallas took a step back by losing Jalen, but we'll see though.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans just getting Zion back alone is that's a huge addition. So I could definitely see why you say that. While we're on basketball, this new great French hype, Wemby, I don't
know how to pronounce it, bro. I don't even know. Don't ask me.
Wembanyama.
Yeah.
If I'm mispronouncing the name, pardon me. I just really, really don't actually know. 7'2". I want to say big man, but you watch his tape. That brother just looks like God created him to be the new from Space Jam. Here, I'm just creating this guy. My boy DJ said that. Let me give him his credit. DJ Bienemy, my Haitian brother, covering the Houston Texans down in Houston. He said it's like God got bored and said, let me put Shaq, Kevin Durant and Giannis into one player and just put them in France at that and see, the madness that he creates. Do you believe the hype? Or do you think this is one of those things that could not turn out very well? Because it looks like a can't miss. He looks can't miss.
Well, actually, the guy that he was playing against is a problem too.
Yeah, the guy who's supposed to go Scooter
something, right? He looks like he's a problem too. So they're gonna
be the
go
top 2 picks in the draft this year.
I've been hearing about this French kid since summertime, and I never really took the time to YouTube him or look at his highlights. So last night he had social media and Twitter going. I'm not gonna front, bro. From the highlights that I saw, I was impressed. He had a mixture of KD, Dirk, and AD. I wouldn't say Giannis because Giannis is a little bit more physical, but that lengthy. And I'm always impressed when super tall guys like that, like KD, can dribble,
can handle the rock.
Because now you can't box him in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say go to the post.
He can create his own shot. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But he was better than advertised, man. But listen, the NBA is the best league in the world. We got to see him against some real gunners. But he's going number 1, man. From what I saw, he looked like the real deal.
Bro, there's GMs that were talking. They're leaking information. They're like, this might be the most tanked year since LeBron James.
That don't work though, bro.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone just wants their shot. It's not even that it automatically works. Everyone wants their shot to potentially win that lottery.
You can't name one NBA team right now that don't have minimum 3 solid players. So the NBA, the talent level in the NBA is the best it's ever been. Every team got good players. So how are you really going to tank? It's not like back in the day when the bottom 4 or 5 teams in each league had no one. You know,
Well, you're gonna tank by you might mismanage how the game goes. If a team's tanking, the GM and the owner is saying, make sure this guy is not, playing a certain amount. Make sure you play more of those guys, mess with the rotation, or you might start trading players. Utah's tanking because they traded all their players. They're rebuilding from scratch. We know they're trying to suck this year, and they're still trying to trade like Jordan Clarkson and the rest of the guys that they have that are even decent. So
could you imagine him on OKC with Chet if they was to win?
the new Twin Towers, the triple towers, because they already have another guy who's like 7 foot tall over there.
Yeah, Giddy. They have that would be crazy, and they have tons of draft pick. They probably got like 22 draft picks, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, look, with the NFL, the lowest win percentage always gets the number one pick, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how can you do that with the NBA? I don't see that happening with the NBA.
Yeah, unless they change it, then
man.
Yeah.
If you told me the NBA switched it up to the lowest winning team gets the first pick,
dudes would win 20 games, like dudes would win 12 games.
7.
Dudes would be sitting out healthy for no reason,
reason, bro. The Warriors would have had the number one pick 2 years in a row when after KD left, fam.
Steph got hurt, yeah.
Right? Come on. So Steph, you can't. I don't understand how you can control tanking in the NBA, man. So
yeah, this kid looks, bro, like he's more impressive. Again, we've posted some of his stuff, but very minimally. Mm-hmm. But I'm watching those highlights last night. Hezzy's with the little step back jumper. He's pulling up from 3 on a fast break.
And his form is so clean.
And it's up there. So you're not going to block a 7'2" guy with a crazy wingspan like that. He got the ball in the corner. He was like maybe about 20 feet from, maybe 18 feet from the basket. He said, nah, step back to the corner 3, split act. He just looks like he's the real deal. Like there's no way this guy's not going to be phenomenal.
So do you feel like, and look at Chet Holmgren's already hurt, do you feel like he got to put on some pounds though?
So that is the first thing that came to my mind. Not even Chet, but Kristaps Porzingis. Because I feel like we've kind of seen KD, not maybe the exact player, but like a mold of a 7'2" guy, super skinny, maybe a little frail. The NBA is a bruiser. We know that guys are physical.
KD alone has had 3 serious leg injuries, man.
Right.
And to his credit, he's come back from it. But, I swear I read this crazy stat where it's like, if someone is 6'11" and up in the NBA, you're going to suffer minimum 2 leg injuries in your playing career. Ain't that crazy? It's like 97% of those players at that height suffer some type of knee, ankle, or Achilles injury. Yeah. And if you go back, like Shaq, Yao Ming, all these players, man.
Right. Yao Ming, his career would have been freaking completely different if he could have stayed healthy with those leg injuries. I think they're going to tell him to gain weight. Now, whether he could do it, I don't know. I don't know how the science works with certain guys, because I still don't know why KD hasn't put on more weight. I'm sure he's trying. Maybe he's just, God's didn't bless him to put on weight, but he blessed him with a crisp crossover and a pretty jump shot.
Yo, to put on weight at that level, to seriously put on weight, because I see it with even like some clients I deal with, bro, you got to be in the weight room a lot.
Yeah, because that's the thing. They do so much cardio just naturally playing. You're sweating so much by the end of the first quarter. You're losing so much weight during the season. Like, you have to actually be getting it to put on muscle and eat correctly to match that, right?
Like, the thing is, KD and those type of players, they're basketball strong though. So that's why they don't get pushed around, because they have basketball strength. But over that wear and tear, man. Look, Kobe came back. He had put on. Remember when he put on 10 pounds of muscle that one off season? Because he was taking a beating, and you need to. But a dude like Kobe lives in the weight room. These other guys, they don't like it, man. They don't like lifting weights.
Yeah. So we think our boy Wembanyama is going to be the real deal.
Real quick, who would you want to see him with?
He can't go to OKC or Orlando, man. Come on. I'm tired. Not even in New Orleans. Like, Zion in New Orleans still doesn't do the league justice. If you're looking at it from the outside, as far as excitement, the Knicks are not going to get him because they're not going to be bad.
They're going to be good. Yeah.
Legit, from the teams that are there, from the teams that might be in the running, or just any team.
The team we can't say any team, because we know the Warriors and these guys ain't gonna win him. So like the lower tier teams, like what team would you want to see him with?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I thought about Detroit, but I'm like, nobody watches Detroit.
Nobody
really
watches that, man.
That's
I don't want to go to no damn Detroit, bro. I bet you Cleveland gets him. Cleveland's good. I forgot.
Good. Yeah, they just got Mitchell. Not Toronto. I'm looking at these teams. There's not a lot of like you said, there's not a lot of just bum teams out there. Charlotte, I would like to see him in Charlotte with LaMelo.
Okay, with LaMelo. Okay.
That would be exciting.
Okay, I can see that.
That would be exciting. And Charlotte is definitely an up-and-coming team. Not Portland. No.
Maybe San Antonio. Let Pop get him right.
God, no.
No?
God, no. We don't want
maybe Pop Portland, man. Yo, if you're looking at the West Coast, like San Antonio and Sacramento and Houston are probably the 3 worst teams. And then after that, you have Portland. So I wouldn't mind Dame getting a little bit of help, but they would have to be real bad for them to even get that. I'm
saying, I don't think unless Dame gets hurt, I don't think they're going to.
I'm going to go with Portland, man. I would like to see him with Portland, even though it wouldn't happen. Charlotte?
Charlotte. Him, LaMelo, and those young guys, I'd like to see that.
But look,
that'd be they would call them the new Shaq and Kobe. That's what they do with every big man and guard.
Was it Embiid and Harden better than Shaq and
Harden
Kobe?
was Shaq and Kobe.
I need receipts on some of these people that I was saying. I'm gonna go find out on Twitter. A lot of people calling these dudes Shaq and Kobe, man. I'm gonna have to retweet that before the season starts.
They just got to leave those guys alone. Even like with Wade and LeBron, they were calling them Jordan Pitt. I'm like, you're not gonna. They're not.
No.
Like, just leave those guys alone. Just let them be who they are. But stop putting Shaq and Kobe anytime a big man and a guard link up. They're not as dominant or as good as those guys are individually and together. Like, they three-peated, literally.
It's like you're disrespecting. It's like it shows me 2 things. You don't respect legacies and what these guys really accomplished. And 2, y'all don't really know sports. Because just say that Embiid and Harden is like the new Kobe and Shaq. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's probably the craziest thing I've ever heard on Twitter. If we keeping it a stack, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like,
because individually they didn't accomplish as much as Shaq and Kobe, and collectively they darn sure had even played yet together.
They won the 0-1 championship. They lost 1 game. That was against Allen Iverson in the whole playoffs.
In that finals.
1 playoff.
That was heated. I was heated. We lost that game. I wanted to go.
Iverson pulled that game out of his ass. Like he came
too. It was the first game, and then they went crazy on him.
Them dudes went 15 or 16-1 in the playoffs, and you're talking about James Harden and Joel Embiid. Like, I'm done, man.
Yo, as we sign off, let me know. Somebody just said, Maples just said Dre's about to kill another championship. As we sign off, bro, I want your prediction. Around this time next week when we talk, what will have been Draymond's consequence for punching Jordan Poole?
I'm gonna go with a light 2-game suspension.
Regular season games?
Regular season. You gotta send that message, man.
Okay. They got the Lakers game 1, so I don't mind that at all. Maybe we could pull off a win. Okay, you said 2. I think it'll be a fine. I don't think they'll suspend him. Because if he was suspended for 1 game for the whole thing with KD, I don't think this is going to be 2 games. But I don't know. We'll see.
Dude, but you're saying if he got suspended 1 game for just cursing some guy out, why wouldn't he get more than 1 for
Kevin Durant?
Okay, but what I'm saying, why would he not get suspended for actually physically assaulting?
Because they're going to tell you Jordan Poole wasn't innocent and that he provoked some way in the altercation.
If that was any other player like a Clay, I'd get it. But Draymond has a pattern of history with this type of behavior. Steve Kerr's been over it, bro. I keep telling people that. Like, Steve Kerr is over Draymond, like, just wilding out like that. Like, it's a pattern of behavior with this guy. At some point, it's like your production ain't worth it. And you got saved because they won the finals, but like everyone who was watching know that you didn't have the best playoffs, man. But that's another topic for another day, bro.
All right. Say less. Draymond, you say he'll be suspended again. I think he'll get a $50,000 fine. We'll see. I'm sure it'll happen soon too. This won't take long because they want to move past this.
Facts.
All right, so this was another episode of yours truly, First Team All Purpose with your guys Sean and JD. Make sure you guys are subscribing, liking, and dropping the comments on the YouTube and all that other stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Until next time, and then make sure if you do see a player in the streets that you holler at them. Word to Stuart Scott. Peace.
Peace.